Looking great. Look at that waiting room there. We've got lots of people. Welcome, everyone. Future Schools, we're absolutely delighted to welcome you today and to join us with our friends from the Academy of Entrepreneurs for the second masterclass of the 5-week entrepreneurship program, Boss Your Future. Today's session is on 6 steps to mentoring student entrepreneurs. My name is Jen Buchanan. I'm convener with Future Schools, and also joining us today are the Future Schools co-founders and co-directors, Peter Hutton and David Runge. And we have Paula Mills, founder and CEO of the Academy of Entrepreneurs. We'll just go into a little bit of housekeeping just to make sure this session runs nice and smoothly. We ask that you use the chat function to record any questions, thoughts, or comments that may come up for you during the presentation. I'll be monitoring the chat function and we'll be able to bring these questions in for Paula to answer towards the end of the presentation. If you're able to, it'd be great if you could update your profile picture just to pop your name in there and possibly which school you're from. It just makes it much easier when we have the conversation part to be able to address you by your name and reference which school you're from. And also, if you're in a space where it's possible to turn on your camera, that would be amazing. It just makes us feel a lot more connected in this virtual space. So for those who are new to Future Schools, a very warm welcome, and those who are part of our Future Schools, an equally warm welcome. Future Schools is a learning community. We're currently 110 schools across Australia internationally, and we really explore and promote the future of education. Our program during the term looks like a series of online events that we host for member schools, and we have webinar conversations, we have virtual school tours, we have keynotes, lots and lots of fun, very inspiring and engaging. And we also offer a consulting professional development space for schools that are interested. So if your school is not yet a member and you'd like to find out more about how to become a member school of Future Schools, just simply send Carly a message here in the chat function and she'll organise a time. You can also pop over to our Future Schools website and have a look at some of the work we do there, or send us a message via that platform. Enough from me though, we've got a lot to cover. I'm going to hand over to Paula. Let's get this started. Second session. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for everyone logging in. And Taryn, I've got you on this call. I will call you back in about an hour. Thanks for the call. And I'll be there on Friday to judge your pitch competition. So thank you everyone for joining us. Honored as always to be a part of the Future School Network. I think it's like the biggest gift that we could have been given by our Australian family here in Australia. So thank you for believing in us and uniting forces with us so we can create this amazing impact. And this is stage 1 of 1,000 different things. Tomorrow, Tati and I, we're heading over to LinkedIn, to Salesforce, Canva, Amazon, and Latam to build like a 10-year strategy for your students. So yes, really, really, really excited to bring entrepreneurship and collaborate with you guys so that your students can shine and make a positive impact. So today we're here on the second session before we get close to launching our Boss Your Future program for your term 4 classes for your 9 and 10 students mostly, but I know that a few of them have asked us to break the rule and give it to year 8, so 11 and 12, and we love breaking the rules, so we said yes to everything. So about the program, just to recap, it's 5 weeks where every week there's 2 hours that we've built content to take the students on the journey of understanding who they are, how they can use the superpowers to make the world a better place and turn it into a business with profit and purpose. And then on the 4th, we're going to be having our national competition where the best ideas are going to come and pitch to the investors and win some awesome prizes. We've also built a beautiful website that you can find all the information on step-by-step what the curriculum includes. If you haven't applied, if you haven't been chosen, we've announced the first 40. This week we'll announce another 10. And so slowly by slowly, we'll be announcing the new groups of schools that are being chosen. So congratulations if you've already been chosen, amazing work. But if you haven't been chosen, you really want to get in, send us a message and we'll help you through the application process and make sure that your school is the right fit for this program. So today's masterclass number 2, specifically designed to help you guys enhance your entrepreneurship ecosystem. So this is not homework, it's not compulsory. We're just sharing everything we have to help you make entrepreneurship as successful as possible in your school, whether you're doing it as an elective, embedding into your curriculum, or looking at doing something bigger and better every single year. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 6 steps. So matching your students to the right mentors, creating the trust, understanding students' expectations and also the mentors' expectations, and setting goals, how to ask the right questions, how to track the progress, which is super important, and the power of celebrating the achievements. And because we break rules, we decided to make 7. Not 6. So the masterclass is around 6 topics. We decided to add an extra 7, which I guess was going to be a question that you guys were going to ask. So I've just shared some of our secrets. I'll share with you guys, as I was building these slides together with the team, a lot of the tips I'm going to be sharing with you guys are based on mistakes that we've made over the years. So we all learn from mistakes. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. We have an unreal mentoring program. And I can almost say, I mean, legally, I don't know if we can say this, but I can say this with confidence. We have 100% success rate with our students. Every student that joins the mentoring session and is committed and bossing the future, putting a step forward, we have 100% success for students that are committed. And a lot of it is to do with the mentoring and a lot of these strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So over years and years and years of like tweaking the mentoring program, we have the perfect formula. So this is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. Little important fact. I don't know what you guys are expecting out of today with the mentoring, but the mentoring that I'm going to be teaching you guys is not just how you can mentor, but it's also how you can recruit and bring amazing entrepreneurs to mentor your students. So we're looking at both of them because I know that you guys can be amazing mentors, but I also know that we can bring in amazing people from the industry and we all collaborate. So we're going to be looking at mentoring from both angles. We've got Matthew logging in. Yeah, I love this quote. And it really touched my heart because this weekend I was reading Peter's new book. You guys have to read this book. It is amazing. And this book was talking about, I mean, it talks about education in Australia and the amazing work he's done, but it was talking about like, what was your experience as a student? And how can we channel this energy of this experience to make education better for the current generation? And then as soon as I read this part of the book, I'm like, what was my experience about? It's like, the teachers that I loved, that inspired me, that were real industry like experts, oh my God, I would get 10 out of 10 in everything. The teachers that were just doing the job and telling me what to do, I remember that I would study enough to just pass because I didn't really like the teacher. And I think this is like a very connected to students, like tell me and I forget. If you tell students to do something, they're going to forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn. And I was very lucky to study in some amazing schools where every year I had at least a couple of teachers that were world leaders, and that helped me be who I am today. So I think this is something very important when we are mentoring the students is we can't tell the students, we don't teach the students what we're mentoring. We're involving and inspiring and empowering them to learn. So why is mentoring important? A mentor can see the areas that you can improve from an outside perspective because most likely they've been there and done that. And mentors find ways to stimulate our personal and professional growth because being an entrepreneur is not just about making money, increasing your profit, growing your business. There's also a huge personal side. So some of my best mentors, sometimes they had to stop me and they're like, Paula, you need to sleep. Paula, you need to go on holidays. Paula, you need to go back to volunteering 2 days a week because when you were volunteering, your energy was at this level. Now you're starting to get burnt out. So mentors help us with the business, but also at a personal level. True mentors, I call my mentors like my godmothers and my godfathers. So as entrepreneurs, mentees come up. So we have a lot of ideas as entrepreneurs. And the mentor is here to help us understand which ones are to focus because the reality is that every opportunity, every idea has the potential of being huge, but a mentor just helps us prioritize and focus on the ones that will help us get the quickest wins, the fastest in what we love. So mentors have experience and they prevent us from making the mistakes that they've made themselves. And the beauty of mentors is that they're free, which automatically make them priceless. So a business coach, we hire them to build structure and give us homework so we can work towards something. A mentor, a real mentor, will never charge you because a mentor cares about you as an entrepreneur or cares about your students. And I personally have the best network of mentors, but I have mentors for different things at different stages throughout my life, my years. So I have a mentor for human resources, one for finance, one for marketing, but I also have mentors in the education space, in the tech, in the disruption, in global growth, and also now in governments, I've got mentors. So a mentor is someone that is aligned to your values, that really care about your success. And a mentor is always going to be free, which makes it priceless because it's about them making time because they want to help you succeed. So I think this is something important. So what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is how you can mentor your students, how you can get mentors for free to add to the ecosystem of your school. So fun fact, 80% of mentored businesses have witnessed long-term success, growth, and business revenues, doubling the survival rate. So it's almost impossible for you to survive without a mentor because a coach, you're paying them. An investor is often giving you money to grow, but a mentor is the one that is molding you in the right direction and increases, like it doubles your chances of survival. And as you know, not every business survives, but if you have a mentor, you're there, you're in the right direction. So I've got a question just for you guys to think about, and you don't have to pop in any question, but just you think, who are the best mentors you've ever had in your life? And it could be like, I've had my grandpa's one of the greatest mentors ever, and he wasn't an entrepreneur, but the values and the foundation and some of the things that he taught me have built me in who I am. Some of the teachers, but it'd be interesting for you guys to think it, who are the best mentors you've had? What impact do they have, and how do they mentor you? Do they like take you for walks or show up at your office? Or I've got mentors that like randomly post books to the office. So it'd be interesting for you guys to think of like, who are the mentors that impacted you? Why do they impact? And how can you learn from this amazing experience and pass it on to your students? And also mentor your team. If you're a principal logging in, how can you mentor your team? If you're a teacher and then you've got new teachers joining your class, what can you learn from this experience for the students, but also for your team? So as I mentioned, mentors are free. So I think it's something very important for us to consider is how do you turn it into a win-win-win situation? At Academypreneurs, everything we do is always about everyone winning and everyone feeling like it's worth their time and they're progressing, but everyone's winning is just as much. So when we are talking about the win-win, so when we are mentoring, we need to make sure that everyone involved in the mentoring ecosystem, whether you are the school, the mentor, or the mentee, the student, everyone's getting what they're looking for in creating this win-win-win. So we have today, we have you as an institution, as a school, you have your students and you have your mentors. And each one of them has a completely different goal. In most cases, schools, they want to have the mentors because the more mentors they have, the more they can show off the case studies. It helps them with the branding. If you've got mentors from Google, if you've got mentors from Academy of Entrepreneurs, it helps with your branding. But also the more you can mentor the students' businesses, the more they will succeed. And not so much in the school system, but in the university system. A lot of universities, when the kids launch their business, they keep a percentage of it. So when they're trademarking, put intellectual property, the university owns a percentage of the business. So this is why it's very important to have mentors. The students, they love mentors because they get to meet leaders. These leaders open new opportunities and guide them. It helps them grow their network because often when you're in school, you still don't have a big network. It helps you succeed faster, guaranteed, but also a lot of students think that the mentors are going to be the first investors. And in many cases, it does happen. And what does the mentor want from you guys? So, and this is not an order of priority, but mentors love getting the recognition as the public relations. They love when we share on LinkedIn and Instagram and we put on the newsletter, it makes them feel good. They love giving back because the more successful you are, the more you want the next generation to succeed. I see the feedback because we've got thousands of mentors and they always want to come back. And every time they're with us, they're like, oh, I feel so young. Like they leave the mentoring session buzzing. So that's also another amazing selling point for you to pass as you're recruiting the mentors. And a lot of them want to invest and acquire businesses. So your job, the same way that we're going to teach your students how to pitch, Today, I'm going to give you guys some tips on how you can pitch to mentors, and each mentor will want something. So sometimes the mentor wants the media coverage, feel the giving back, feeling young, and also to invest. So you'll have to use your emotional intelligence to see how it can convert these amazing leaders into mentors for my schools that maybe they donate a couple of hours a month, but it's important for you to see what's in it for them and how can you use the right words to make them get whatever it is that they want back. So every mentor will have a difference. So it's very important when you're thinking of the mentoring in a way that everybody wins. Now, let's talk about the matching the right mentors. And I'll explain this from personal mistakes that we've made at Academy of Entrepreneurs. So mentoring is not for everyone. Some students do not want to have a mentor telling them what to do. Some of them are still not humble enough to realize that they're going to fail and a mentor is going to help them. Sometimes they don't click with a mentor. Sometimes they think they don't trust the mentor. They think the mentor is going to steal their idea. So mentoring is not for everyone and is not for every stage of a life. And at different stages, we need mentorings for different things. So it might be a spiritual mentor, a life coach mentor, a financial mentor, an ideation mentor, a business model mentor, or an industry mentor. The sky's the limit of the amount of mentors the students can have. But mentoring is not for everyone. So we can start introducing the students. A lot of students come to me like, Paula, can you find me the perfect mentor or the perfect business partner? And I just go, it's kind of like dating. That someone might be amazing, but sometimes you just don't click, like the person's amazing, but it's not the right time. And it's the same with mentor. So if your students aren't clicking with the mentor, try to find out why. Maybe it reminds them of a bad experience that they have. I don't know, the mom has a new boyfriend that's got the same name, and something as simple as that, something really personal, and they just go, no. I've had students going, I don't like the name. And I'm like, okay, don't want to know, we'll find another one. So mentoring is not for everyone, and you might have the greatest mentor ever, and it might not click with your students. So do consider that. So don't put too much pressure on yourself that you need to be the perfect mentor for your students or find the perfect mentor, because you might be an amazing mentor for 90% of your class, but 10% maybe is looking for someone else. Now, let me teach you guys a mistake that we've made. Initially, when we were small, I ran a PR firm for many years. So I had access to all of the CEOs and entrepreneurs of the year. Everyone that had won Telstra Business of the Year, CEO of the Year for every award, they were my friends. So what did I do? I called all these amazing entrepreneurs and I said, can you mentor our students at Academy of Entrepreneurs? Because of friendship and because they love entrepreneurship, literally all of them said yes. But what happened is that some of them were thinking so big that our students were scared of the mentors. So they'd be like, okay, this mentor has offices in 20 countries, is making $20 million a year per country. So our students would be scared of showing up. They didn't know how to dress. They'd be too nervous. They didn't know how to open up. And sometimes the mentor's feedback was so like unicorn focused on let's turn your business into $1 billion business, while the student didn't even have a logo. So something for you to consider as you are matching the student is if your student is still trying to understand their idea, maybe match them with a student that is in year 1 of university that's made the first $10,000, because your student will learn more for someone that is close to them. So they look at this person as a leader with the next step that they want to achieve. So be careful on bringing in someone that, I don't know, if your students are very much into, I don't know, if you're in like rural Australia and your kids are all about green and sustainability, and if you put them with a mentor that is making $2 million and an app development business and the kids don't really care about that, they're not going to click, they're not going to open up, or maybe even the mentor's advice is not going to be useful for your students. So do consider that when you're matching the students with the mentor. So what we do at Academy of Entrepreneurs, we've got different levels of mentors for different industries, but we also always match the students to something that is the next step. So a student that has made $0, doesn't even have a logo, we match them with someone that's just converted the first $10,000. Someone that's 10,000 should be matched with someone that is making 100,000, 100 to 300, 300 to 800. So we start matching them kind of like the little steps, so step by step. This is why we chose this image. So you don't need to bring the best entrepreneur of Australia to mentor your students. You can bring them to motivate your students as a group presentation, but you're most likely wasting this incredible mentor's time if your students don't even have a logo yet, because they're going to be talking with like such high level of strategy, because a lot of these mentors, they're just amazing entrepreneurs and want to share the knowledge, and they don't remember what it is to be 15 in high school, and technology and everything has changed so much. So do consider that when you are matching. If you have access to these amazing entrepreneurs, run big presentations once in a while, but do bring presenters and mentors that your students can connect with. So a lot of you guys that I've been working with over the last few months and years have had successful students. So now we're going into Instagram and TikTok and getting those success stories, reconnecting with those students and bringing them in to share the stories with your students so that they can realize like, oh, you're studying the same school as me. You've sold, I don't know, $200,000 2 years after you've graduated. I can do it as well. So yeah, so we see that when we match students with someone from the local suburb that's graduated from the same school and have a few steps ahead, it gets the students to progress a lot faster because of the quality of the feedback. And the students go, if he's done it or she's done it, I can do it as well. Cool. Next step is building trust. So a feedback that we've gotten, not so much in Australia, but because this program operates around the whole world, is what happens if I tell my mentor and they steal my idea? So when we first is our ideas, most of our ideas already exist in the world and there'll always be competition. The more competition, the more it validates that your idea is needed. But sometimes, depending on the profile of the students and the mentors, we get them to sign a non-disclosure agreement that just keeps everyone like very confident in each other and makes them trust. But what we see with building trust and connecting with mentors is a mentor that spends enough time. So not a mentor that just has 15 minutes or shows up late. We see that as something huge that gives the space for the students to really connect because this entrepreneur is showing that they have time. Follows through the promise in both ways. The entrepreneur mentor, if he says, I'm going to make these introductions, it's very important that he keeps his words, because then the student will see that they can rely on this person, everything they promise they're delivering. But also if your student says they're going to do something, it's very important that they also keep the promise. It's very important for them to have an open conversation around what they agree and don't agree, because sometimes we don't understand something or we don't agree on something. So it's very important for our students in a gentle way to know that they have a voice and they have a brain and we want to hear their thoughts and they don't have to agree on everything that the mentor is saying, and they can have this open conversation because a real mentor will be open towards hearing the truth. It's very important for them to track the progress and know where we're going towards, and I'll teach you guys, and that helps them keep the trust, because if you've got an amazing entrepreneur that you're inspired by, and then they track the progress and they celebrate the wins and they go from lesson to lesson knowing that the mentee has progressed, we see that that strengthens the relationship and the trust between the two of them. And very important that they show the commitment and keep the words all the time. So keep the promise and the commitment of showing up. So very important before you guys allocate a mentor for your students is be very clear on what you expect, the number of hours, for example. If it's going to be, I don't know, the next 5 weeks, if on top of the mentors that we're going to be giving you guys, if you guys allocate someone else, make sure that whatever time is committed, the entrepreneur, the mentor needs to know that they need to be there and is well prepared for it. Because we don't want someone just amazing showing up and then not showing up for the second week. Your students will absolutely, like, it will break their hearts because they think that the entrepreneur is not valuing them, and they feel like, and I mean, things can happen. They can get COVID, they can get stuck in traffic, they can have a last minute emergency meeting with an investor, but do have a genuine conversation on the importance of this mentor for your students' future. So there needs to be that accountability, that trust. So another big mistake that we've made over the years with mentors is we built a huge network of mentors, humongous, and we would tell the students about the importance of mentoring, and sometimes students were late or they would have last minute cancellations. So it was the other way around. It was the student letting our amazing mentors down. So what Lucas from our team did is at Accounts Fitness, and this is like we built because we've got like a whole year, 2-year degrees on entrepreneurship diploma, sorry. What Lucas has done is he built, and we can look at different strategies for your school in the long term. But what we did is we build a course that as soon as you start at Accounts Fitness, even before you start, if you put a deposit and you're going to start in 6 months or in 3 months for any reason, if you're not starting now, we've built a pre-start course. And it's only 4 hours. And we encourage students to do this at least 4 weeks before they start at a camp spinner so we can allocate the mentors. But we've built a little course because then the student needs to show the commitment. So they need to complete this little 4-hour course. It helps us understand how they are progressing. They get a certificate at the end, which automatically makes them feel like they've completed the first step before they get allocated a mentor. So they value more. And it also helps us understand like who's the right mentor for our students, because maybe they're in a minor stage 1, which means that they've got 100 ideas they haven't even started. So the type of entrepreneur that we're going to be bringing in is going to be the right one. And then another thing that we've seen is a lot of students and entrepreneurs get very confused on when is the time. So we've digitalized, and all of this is free, the software is out there. We've digitalized the booking system. So we've created a category, like we've created a landing page where they can put the time, the details. In our case, the students get it for free, all of our internal students. But we also sell mentoring we have sell coaching as a service in this case. But yeah, so see how you can make the students value this amazing entrepreneur's time. So it's 2 ways. We need to make sure the entrepreneurs and mentors are committed towards your school. They're aligned in values, but also that your students value. And our experience with the entrepreneurs, our biggest challenge was actually the students. Getting the mentors was the easiest thing ever. And the first mistake we made is our mentors were like thinking in the billions and our students didn't even have our logo. And stage 2 is the entrepreneurs, the early stage entrepreneurs, the students weren't seeing this amazing leader that probably charges $20,000 an hour, giving the time for free. And once we built this little certificate system, every student that completed certificate was committed. And then it helped us allocate the right mentor and also brief the mentor on the student's profile. This is a little something that we've done. And it could be something simple that your school, maybe it's an Excel spreadsheet that you've got the name, the industry, and the student's goal for the next week or month. But it's important for you to like gently, without spending too much time, but try to filter. We've digitalized because we work at a global level, but try to digitalize the experience so that you are making students value it, but also you're automating so that both of them receive a calendar invite and both of them know the time. So these are 2 huge mistakes that we made early when we started and now have made our lives so much easier. So yeah, I think a great way to learn is from other people's mistakes. We've made probably every mistake on the planet, and this is why we've got everything amazing now. So I'm just sharing them with you guys. The next thing is setting expectations and goals. Another thing that we've seen is that students get to a mentoring session thinking that the mentor is one of the staff. So they just go, oh, but you've got access to all the investors. Can you find me like $1 million? But the mentor's there to mentor them towards molding their idea for the pitch. So I think also understanding students' expectations and the mentor's expectations. So SMART goals, like we spoke last week. So be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So the ideal is that before the student comes into the mentoring session, you get them to do the 1-sentence SMART goal of what they aim to get out of it. And then once they've got that, it's very important for us to figure out in your school, what is the best platform for us to track and document everything and make sure that we are progressing. So I'm going to be talking about some of the tools. I've had some amazing coaches working with me, teaching me techniques that now we've applied with the mentors. And I had one specifically, Tom, who was the CFO of Sephora globally. So he was like coaching me on the finance and human resources together because he's built this beautiful model. And he used to ask me to rate him at the end of every session, which it was the first time that I saw like a coach having the confidence of asking, how would you rate my mentoring or my coaching session? It takes a lot of inner strength because everyone wants to be a 10 out of 10. But by me giving feedback, made sure that my next session was stronger. And also at the start of every mentoring or coaching session, if you're going to be working with a coach as a mentor, is ask the students to share the progress and what their aim is for that specific mentoring session. So they're not just casually talking about anything and everything. Just go, okay, from last week to this week, what have you achieved and what do you want to get out of today? So they can focus on that and then document it. And at the end of that 1 hour together, rating the session. So I think these are 2 very important techniques for you to bring in while you're mentoring the students. Now, tracking the progress. So Lewis from our team has built a lot of different techniques around project management to help track. But it's very important for us to be strategic on how we're going to track. Every school works in a different way. So you need to see, like, how do you want to track? I know that writing on a piece of paper, journaling and writing ideas can be great, but you kind of want to put it on a software that your school feels safe because you're dealing with underage kids, and then it's on the cloud so that the mentor, in case they want to log in, they can see the progress. So Asana, Basecamp, Trello, Notion, GitHub, Miro, and Todoist are different platforms. Most of these are free when you start working, and then they can share their to-do list or the project management tools with the mentor. So the mentor can check in between one session and another and add little comments. And then often the students can tag the mentor's name in case of any questions in between one session and another. And every mentor has a few seconds to donate. Because if it's on the cloud, they can see what's upcoming, what's in programs, and what has been done. So it helps the student progress and see the importance of going from step to step, because next week they have to deliver X, Y, and Z based on the promise that the mentor has challenged them on. But also it helps keep everything on a system that you as a school, you can see how your students are tracking. So play with a few of them, maybe download all of these and see which one works best for you guys. See which one's allowed to have maybe multiple users logging in and accessing, but do consider where you are putting all of that information. And to be honest, an Excel spreadsheet really works. An Excel that stays on the cloud, I feel like nothing beats an Excel. Like, it's just so simple. Dashboards are amazing. Trello is beautiful. Trello is one of our favorite, like, it's very colorful. Slack also works, but if you want to keep it simple, put it in an Excel, which I guess most of our students have. Another thing is teaching students how to measure the time by using a calendar and making sure that if they've got something upcoming, that they're already color coding it into the diary, because often we find that the students get very overwhelmed because they have to design the logo, do the packaging, figure out the right pricing, study for their other exams. So maybe spend some time on not just on the project management tool with your students, but also teach them how to better manage the time so they've got enough time to play with TikTok, watch Netflix, do the homework, work the business, play the sports, and hang out with the friends and family. So find that these two tools really helps, having a project management tool, but also teaching students how to use the calendar, because we all have 24 hours in a day. Some people are sending rockets out to space, and other people can barely do the homework. But if we teach the students right technique, they'll be able to achieve everything. So be clear on the rules for both the mentor and mentee. So if a mentor commits, make sure that they're really committed, and the student as well. And then that both of them see, like, they build the trust, but make sure that they both understand the beauty and benefit of them being committed and showing up on time and supporting each other. So there's no point of you getting 100 amazing entrepreneurs and your students not showing up, the same way that if your student gets really excited about a mentor and the mentor doesn't show up. After setting a long-term goal with the mentor, it's important that you work with the mentor on breaking it down into many milestones, so using different platforms so the students know that they're progressing step by step. Feedback is, don't let your mentors attack your students, begging them for progress. So don't follow up regularly. It's the student's job to book the next mentoring session, because they are getting something for free from the mentor. So let your students also tell you what it is that they want, because we found over the years, we used to have like mentoring, we got to stage some of our, because we've got this program called military training, that we literally like military train the students to like triple their income in a month. And we found that even with them, some of them don't want to be called every day. They're like, can you just back off and let me do my job? So make sure that from the beginning, we're setting the right rules on how both of them want to be mentored and mentee, like what relationship they want to have. And it's not the mentor's job to be following up on the student. It's the student's job to contact the mentor and just go, this is what I've done. Can you give me a hand for the next session? So this is something very, very, very important for us to consider, or else it gets very demotivated for the mentor. The mentor starts chasing. And then as the student is not progressing, their anxiety goes up, and then they start like running away from the mentor and they stop believing in the business. So make sure that your students are bossing the future and they're driving the conversation and they are following up on the mentor. But in saying that, they also have to understand that the mentor is not their staff and the mentor is not going to be available for them 24 hours. So just have this nice conversation with your students. Praise them always. Everyone likes being praised, and make sure that we celebrate the little wins. Being an entrepreneur can be so challenging. So little something as completing the logo, completing the first sale, getting your first no. At least the student has put the foot forward. So make sure that we are celebrating the little wins with the students every day, because little by little, you'll super motivate the students. So if you're mentoring or working with the mentor with the students, make sure that you're celebrating. I know that here in Australia, we had for many years this whole thing of like giving trophies out to students saying, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. And I've seen now a lot of schools have gone in the opposite direction. We've had some schools that they don't let us do an awards night or a competition or give a prize because they're like, Paula, you can't bring chocolates, you can't do prizes, you can't big trophy because we've over like bona fide and over like celebrated students win, saying that they're amazing and our school is about equal rights. It's not about equal rights. If your student is winning, celebrate with them, share it, give them a hug, post it on social media, tell everyone in the class about it. Celebrate your students win, please. I don't know where and I only see this in Australia, that they've been pulling all of this because they don't want to over like celebrate and over praise. If your student is winning, clap for them because that will motivate them to go forward. So please, please, please celebrate all of your students win because that will make them absolutely unstoppable. And very important for you to share your expectations for the next meeting. So what does the mentor and the mentee expect of the next meeting? This is super important. And we love, as entrepreneurs, always asking for feedback. What could I have done better? What can I do more? How would you rate the session? So yeah, so those are little important things. We're getting towards the end and I'll take questions. So asking the right questions. So we just need to listen to our students. The more we listen, the more we learn, and always encourage stories. Because as they share the stories on why they're creating the business, what is happening, their example of speaking to the customer or trying to negotiate a price or understanding their anxiety on which web developer to use or what platform, what project management tool, let the students share the story and just listen to them. The more we listen, the more we'll be able to how we can support them. Look for inconsistency. So sometimes students tell us something and it's not the real thing because they're embarrassed or scared or they've had a traumatizing experience before. So look for inconsistency and don't let them know that you find an inconsistency. Just get them to share that in a story and then you'll be able to get that out of them. Obviously, use your emotional intelligence to pay attention to the body language, how they're reacting throughout the session, because you'll see a flow of ups and downs in that 1 hour with the student. And also don't be afraid of silence because sometimes they're taking time to process the questions that we're asking them. But most importantly, the most important question that we can ask students all the time is why? Why are you setting up this business? Why do you think you don't have the results? Why do you have that as a goal? So why is the most powerful question you can ask as a mentor and encourage your mentors as well. I have a dear friend who won CEO of the Year of the Telstra business 2 years into launching his business. And Troy was developing Maxpa, the iced tea, the amazing tea that we see all over Australia. We were best friends from university. We had just started university. And he had this dream of putting Maxpa at Woolworths. And he went to his mentor and he said, I would love to put my iced tea at Woolworths, but I can't do it. And the mentor just went, but why not? Have you tried? Next 24 hours, Troy contacted Woolworths and he got a meeting in. And these days you see him in every supermarket, every 7-Eleven, you see him on planes. He's a global success because the mentor said, why don't you try? Have you tried? Why do you want to be a Woolworths? And why not try? So A simple question such as why helps us understand the why behind their fears, the why behind the reason why they're creating this business, and maybe why they're not trying. It could be a lot of students have limiting beliefs based on things that the parents have shared with them over the dinner table. A lot. And it happens to all of us. We've all been molded according to our people that are within our ecosystem around us, and normally it comes from our family. So always ask the question why. So if you want to get the best out of the students, because with the why, that you'll be able to see where they are, and then you can ask them why not try, and you'll be able to see that they are able to do it, and they know the answer. They just need someone to believe in them and ask the questions such as why. Okay, so 7th point, the bonus that wasn't included in the promise of today is, where the hell do I find mentors, Paula? We spoke about mentors. We've given you some tips on how to mentor, but the reality is that most of you guys aren't entrepreneurs. So you want to combine your passion towards helping your students and mentoring, but you also want to bring in external entrepreneurs. So important for you to think before you think about where are you going to find the mentors is, what is going to be in your pitch? So what does your school stand for? Why do you want the mentor? And why should the mentor be? So the elevator pitch that we talk about, the 30-second pitch when we're starting a business that we start telling everybody, you need to define your elevator pitch on why a mentor should be mentoring at your school, whether it's online or face-to-face. Are you getting someone from a local bank that you want them to mentor your students on finance? And then your pitch could be around them having the brand in front of your students so your students can start banking with them. Do you remember the win-win-win that I shared with you guys right at the beginning? So what is the win that you want as a school? How is your student going to benefit? But step one first is for you to convince the mentor. So if you guys need help on your pitch, just send me a message. But it's very important for you to align the why in alignment with the values of your school. So a lot of you guys have like girls only schools. He said, I went to girl boss, like into like technology to mentor my girls. Others just said, I want someone in agriculture, others in sustainability or in alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So what does your school stand for? Why do you want to mentor? And how can you add value to the mentor by connecting the soul and the values of your school with the value of the mentor and the business? So do consider that. Then ways to get mentor is start blogging about the work that you guys are doing when it comes to entrepreneurship. Because if you show that you are increasing the level of entrepreneurial activities in your school, it will show your commitment as a school. And then the entrepreneurs will see that this is something that you guys have built as part of the strategy. So it's a long term, because entrepreneurs are time poor. But if you are really focusing on doing something beautiful that's got long term, they want to be part of the journey to help you succeed. So with the blogs, it could be about you announcing that you're part of Future School, you're part of Boss Your Future, how you're starting this project, and share it across different platforms. But also, something that works really well is every mentoring session, as the students are succeeding, maybe put the mentor's profile and their experience as in a quote format, or your students' quotes as well, into a blog format. Just go, thank you, John Smith, for mentoring our students coming from this local startup. Our community is very aligned to your values. In the session, our students learned about this. This is little Johnny's comment, little Amanda's comment. And then from that, other entrepreneurs will be looking and reading. If you share it on the right channels, you can also contact the local media with this little blog as in a media article, and they can share, and it's a win-win for everybody. A lot of, to also put it on your website. So if you are recruiting mentors, maybe have the courage and put it on the homepage of your website as your school website. If I was a parent and I could see that my kid's school is bringing an entrepreneurship program and is recruiting the best mentors in town to mentor my kids, it will probably help you guys with the recruitment as well, because it's showing that you're innovative. We have over the years also worked with many universities, because sometimes we have to recruit hundreds of thousands of mentors, creating video pitches. So personalizing, creating video pitches, because people are more and more time poor, but everyone's got 30 seconds to watch a video, and you can upload this as a recruitment channel to find mentors. and lots of posts on social media. So LinkedIn is your most powerful channel for recruiting mentors. So you can make a post calling out for the entrepreneurs, depending on the industry that you want, but also every mentor that signs up, even if you haven't started, my recommendation is if they are okay, which 99% of the chance they'll be okay, share it on social media. Welcome, John Smith, for being the mentor at our school, and then share it, and then just go tag your friend's name, or if you're an entrepreneur, tag your name down here if you'd also like to mentor our students. So LinkedIn is very, very, very powerful, and it's the easiest way for you guys to find mentor. Now, the last thing is a challenge for you guys, which will help you find mentors. So identify 3 entrepreneurship groups and networks that you can join as an educator, and write a 1-sentence pitch on what will be the benefits. And you can join memberships and networking online, or you can do it face-to-face, but identify 3 in your local community that you can attend over the next week. Because if you go to 3, you're guaranteed to find minimum 10 mentors and entrepreneurs for your school. And then step 2, connect with 10 entrepreneurs that you've met in these 3 different groups, membership, networking programs that you've joined over the next week, and invite 3 of them, invite all of them, but convince at least 3 of them to be a guest speaker at your school. Just go, we're running this amazing entrepreneurship program. Do you mind donating 15 minutes over lunch and logging in on Zoom? Tell your students about the profile, brief them on who's coming so that the student value, brief the mentor and the entrepreneur on the profile of your students and what they're going to be learning through this program. Invite them in, and I can guarantee you each and every single one of them will make time to mentor your students. So this is an activity, not homework, because we don't have homework at Accounts. It's an activity that will guarantee you mentors for your school. And boss your future. Take a step forward. The same way when we tell your students to take a step forward to make the world a better place, please boss your future. Take on this little challenge that I've given you guys for you guys to start building your mentoring ecosystem so your students can be mentored by amazing, inspirational entrepreneurs that can push them that step forward. Remember to connect with us across all social media. I think we're connected with most of you guys, but if you haven't connected, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. So please connect with us. And now it is time for questions. Wow. And I've made it on time. I was born in Latin America. How did I? Wow. Cool. Awesome. Questions. And Brad, Mark, Melinda and Antia, Fiona, Oliver. Questions. Who has questions? Copy of the presentation if you guys need it. Jen will send it to you guys. Today's getting recorded. If you want to share this with all of your friends, colleagues, or incubators and accelerators around your community.
And please let me know, last week's recording has already been sent out. If for some reason that did not end up in the inbox, please do check the junk folder, but get in contact if that recording hasn't been received at this point.
And share it with everyone. We're building this for you guys, but share it. The more we share, the more impact we'll create. So all this information, feel free to share. The slides that I've built, we'll share them with you guys. And if you guys want to duplicate and use it and turn it into a course and sell it to someone else, go and do it. Go and share. In fact, and there's no better way to learn than teaching. So maybe summarize this and teach it in your own school. Maybe do that as your PD training for the next week. Just steal our content, go for it. And let me know if you need any help. I'll help you guys. Peter.
Fantastic.
Questions, Dave. Thank you, man. Thank you. I wish we could all be together. We need to start doing this face-to-face soon.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But I recognize as well, we said 4:45, and there may be people in schools that do need to head home to other people that love them as well, besides our little family here at the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Future School. So if you do need to dash home, we understand. So we'll bring it to a close. As always, reach out to us if any questions pop up. If there's anything between now and next week that you just like, right, I need to ask Paula this and I remembered on the way home, let us know. Send us a message and we'll bring it into the conversation and weave it into next week's presentation. But from all of us tonight, this afternoon, this evening, depending on where we are, thank you and good night, everyone.